lot more than we thought. Karen Scullen tracking that one for us. Also, Governor Walz trying to put a special session on the calendar for gun reform. He did get a progress report from legislative leaders today, and our Corin Hoggard was there. Also, the federal government suing Minnesota Secretary of State over voter registration records. So how rampant is voter fraud in Minnesota? We'll break down those numbers. Plus, the Vikings are packing up and shipping out. Destination Dublin, and then it's off to London. But not before they had one more practice at TCO today. Dawn Mitchell was there, and we're going to talk to her in about 15 minutes.
Let's start, though, with meteorologist Cody Matz with your weather on the 9s. Cody, it is heating up out there today.
Yeah, it's warm. I don't like it.
I know, but I do.
Yeah, it's just a lot. I mean, this morning was amazing, and I actually mowed my lawn just a little before noon. I was like, okay, I can do this. And then, you know, I got into suit clothes and got to work, and I was like, it got warm fast. It is a warm day. It's beautiful, though. Temperatures right now in those low to borderline middle 80s in some cases. Dew points have actually come down slightly, but still doesn't have like that fall style edge to things, mostly because it's very warm, but also because dew points are still quite high for this time of the year. There's a bit of a breeze out of the west right now at 12 miles an hour. Check out your highs today. A lot of the state actually surging into the 80s from Brainerd and Hinckley, south and westward. Montevideo coming in at 88. Some 70s across our eastern zones. Northern Minnesota in the 70s as well. Storm vision, it's working, but there's nothing to show, and it's amazing how incredibly clear the entire central parts of North America are. That includes sections of central Canada, and it's really just kind of more of the same as we move forward. Now, there will be a slight change into the weekend. The change actually comes not necessarily with temperature, but the feels like part of that crispness is dry air, and a lot more of that is heading in our general direction, which pretty much puts a stopper on any sort of rainfall for the foreseeable future. We'll talk all about it. We'll start up again here at 5:19.
We'll need the sprinklers. All right.
Eventually.
Thank you, Cody. Well, a big update to that wild crypto heist we first reported Wednesday. We were just here yesterday talking about this. The pair of brothers who traveled 18 hours from Texas to Minnesota to kidnap and rob a family of crypto now charged federally, but the feds say the heist was worth $8 million. We are talking about a lot here, so let's talk about the details. Isaiah and Raymond Garcia are accused of renting a car from their hometown. This is in Waller, Texas. They then drove to Minnesota, where they eventually confronted a man outside his Grant, Minnesota home. They zip-tied him and his wife and adult son and held them at gunpoint for 9 hours inside of their own home. They then forced the victim to transfer $8 million in cryptocurrency before running away. That then forced the cancellation of the Matamidi High School homecoming football game Friday night. But then get this, a Wendy's receipt led police to surveillance video. That's where they matched the car to the suspects and then tracked them down at their Waller, Texas home. And now they are charged. They are in custody with kidnapping and robbery at the state and also the federal level. So now people, of course, are asking questions about how this could have happened, and will this family get back this $8 million? So Fox 9's Karen Scullen has been following this story. Karen, we talked about this yesterday. So crazy. And now you have some more answers today. What are you learning?
Well, you know, obviously, after this wild, crazy story, the headline is probably that this kidnapping and crypto robbery scheme, these kinds of things are becoming a bigger and bigger problem year after year. Earlier, I interviewed a cryptocurrency expert on this very issue.
This stuff is happening more often nowadays. In the past year or so, like these types of kidnappings and extortions, like in-person attacks, have increased. You know, I think it's in part because the value of crypto has increased, but maybe people are suddenly aware now that you know, crypto is, you know, real money. And I'm talking more so like, you know, like people who, you know, potentially be looking to try to do these kidnappings anyways, who might not know a lot about crypto. They realize, hey, this is a good avenue. They finally caught on.
Yeah, and in this Minnesota case, we are talking $8 million, a lot of money. There's a third party involved, as one of the suspects was on the phone with someone helping with the heist, but it's not clear if law enforcement knows who that or where that person is. And although it's possible, it's unlikely the victim gets all or possibly any of that money back.
And it's this is why sometimes when you're holding crypto, it's called be your own bank. It means you're responsible for your own security and your own security measures, in a similar way that, a bank has, make sure that there's security measures to make sure bad actors don't access the vault.
Yeah, but there's not really an insurance policy like there are with banks, so that's the big difference. Now, this likely happened either due to a data leak or a hack. The crypto owner told police he believed it was related to a data leak. So the bad guys knew his name, his address, and that he likely had a large amount of crypto. Sibinek has said investing in crypto is a risk. There are good reasons to do it, like fighting inflation, but you run a risk that if it's stolen, it's gone for good. He did say it's probably a good idea to not invest so much that it will sink you financially if you lose it. So I think there's probably a lot to learn here and a lot to consider if you're investing or thinking about investing in crypto. Simone?
Yeah, one good punch after the other for this family too, but yeah, definitely teaches us a whole lot. Thank you, Karen. A construction worker was killed while working inside a construction zone this afternoon. State Patrol says a contractor was walking when he was struck by a dump truck. This happened in a construction zone on Highway 610 and Maple Grove Parkway in Maple Grove. This is the second fatal incident in a construction zone in just 2 days.
The gun control special session still is not on the calendar for Minnesota's legislature, but it may be coming closer this week. Governor Tim Walz meeting with legislative leaders today. Fox 9's Corin Hoggard talked to them afterwards, so he's live at the Capitol now for us. Corin, any indication that they're finding common ground at all?
Amy, probably not a whole lot that they're talking about, at least publicly. The DFLers say that their constituents are telling them this is an urgent issue and they need to get on it, but Republicans are telling them that there's not going to be a vote on this. They're not going to budge on gun control. And the Speaker of the House, Lisa Dameth, told me that that's not quite what she said. She is saying, though, that there is only this idea of a vague ban and no specific language for bills, and that Republicans are really more focused on securing schools and boosting mental health treatment.
We are working very diligently in how we represent our communities, and so there's not really a characterization, and as I said in the very beginning, it's good that the four leaders and the governor that we're still talking.
I keep telling people I'm trying to bring them together and negotiating in good faith. I put things in there that the Republicans want to do, which, look, I think I probably agree with them. I fight for them all the time. I would say this: if you really believe, as they keep saying, this is mental health, then call your representatives, Republican representatives, and tell them not to cut the subsidies to the ACA that provide mental health care for 43,000 Minnesotans. So I'm still trying to work with them on that, but we are going to have a discussion on guns. We are going to ask, get this vote.
Corin, the governor right there seemed pretty adamant. We are going to get this vote. What exactly does he mean by that? What kind of vote? And do you think Republicans are going to be on board with that?
Yeah, he can call a special session whenever he wants, and so he does intend to have a vote on a ban of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and that's basically what they're going for. DFLers say the majority of Minnesotans support that, so they definitely want that on a special session agenda, and they want to vote on it. But as Speaker Dameth said, there's no language to any bill just yet, and she says even DFLers know that they really do not have the votes to pass anything on gun control.
All right. Thank you, Corin. Appreciate that update. Well, meantime, Minnesota's Secretary of State Steve Simon is now being sued by the federal government over allegations that election integrity was violated under the Help America Vote Act that President Trump signed earlier this year. Now, the Department of Justice has been demanding Minnesota's statewide election voter data. Secretary Simon has said that the state is under no obligation to disclose that information. So we took a look at how rampant voter fraud is in Minnesota, and this is some data from the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative think tank, and they do list 16 voter fraud cases in Minnesota since 2016. In addition, as of November 2023, there were just over 1,400 proven cases of voter fraud listed in 44 years, an average of 33 cases per year.
Savage police say they are not ruling out any possible causes after an infant died while at a daycare in the city on Monday. When we initially learned about this, police didn't release detailed information, and today they still haven't shared much, but the fact that they are waiting on autopsy and toxicology reports. We do know, of course, they are investigating this, a baby's death at Rocking Horse Ranch Child Care. Police say they have collected evidence and interviewed multiple people. The center's license has been suspended. And as we previously reported, 2 infants required emergency services at the daycare in the last week. One of them died.
All right, check your weather now. 82 degrees, my goodness, at 5:09. Here we are, still ahead. Meteorologist Cody Matz is going to be back with his forecast at 5:19. Also, we learned quite a bit more today about the man that authorities say opened fire at an ICE facility in Texas yesterday, including what they believe was the motive.
We'll have a live report from Dallas coming up. And the Vikings play in Dublin on Sunday. Today was their last practice before heading overseas to face the Steelers. We are talking with Don Mitchell next, but first, here's a look at your drive times tonight.